Hey everyone, I'm playing some Apollo Justice again tonight. So last time, uh, we confirmed some very unfortunate news. Um, oh boy. I don't think there's anything to say, but to just jump right into it. Yep. So, one thing. Body that appears to be several days old. Now, it's possible that this is being manipulated because it's really cold in there. But if it's not actually, like, if it is actually more than a day old, something else is very wrong with this setup. Sorry, bud. Why'd this have to happen? You did say there were going to be some uncomfortable truths. Damn it, Dirk. Answer me. How can this be? Yeah. Who's laughing? Of course it's her. The traitorous Snake, the very head of the insurgency, murdered? Oh, what a joyous day. Those fools shouting for change and revolution will finally return to whatever rocks they crawled out from under. Who? What? What's I even fighting for? Follow. What am I supposed to do now? I mean, technically, if he's been dead for several days, then he couldn't have possibly killed the minister. So you basically home free on one of them. But yeah. Oof. Yeah, give him a minute. Son. A lawyer. Should never look the way you do right now. The dragon never yields. Even when wounded, a dragon bites down hard and never lets go till its dying breath. It glares, it roars, and it latches its jaws firmly onto its prey till the bitter end. That's what lawyers do to get to the truth. But, Dirk, what if the truth is that you're... Hollow, in court tomorrow, you may find yourself faced with a truth that is difficult to accept. But I know you, and I know you can handle the truth, no matter what it turns out to be. I know that because I believe in you. You're my son, after all. Yeah, You believed in me that much, Dirk? Dirk, I think I finally understand. I can't yield. Not now, not ever. Not after Dirk believed in me, despite knowing what was about to happen. Besides, Dirk left me with two things I must do. Are you alright, Apollo? Sorry about that, Mr. Wright, but I'm fine now. Apollo. Detective Sky. Yes? How sure are you that the body's been there for a few days? I'm positive. No autopsy's been performed yet, but I'd say it's been at least 3 days. Fortunately, the low temperature inside the sarcophagus kept it from decaying. Oh, and the chest area bore 3 gunshot wounds from a small caliber weapon. Huh. I believe they are the cause of death. At least 3 days, huh? Yeah, so... hold on. It's only been a day since... yeah, so something is... How? Because Maya was kidnapped. Nana only disappeared shortly before... or Amara, whatever. She only disappeared shortly before the incident. And Garon's been the queen for the past couple... Huh. Something's... Miss Dirk was already dead by the time he came to visit me back in the States, yeah. Then who was channeling him? Yeah, that's... huh. Wait. No, but that can't be right. I was gonna say Maya says she was cagey about a secret, but it could have been her because she's been kidnapped for the last week or so. At least, I think something's going... okay, I think it would have to be someone who could get into and stay in the U.S. without arousing suspicion. Yet also had a solid cover story so they wouldn't be seen as missing. I mean... this one's impossible. This one's also seemingly impossible. But then how did she pull this off while also being kidnapped? I mean, that seems impossible, but we can't say for certainty, like, these two would almost certainly have been noticed if they were missing. Whereas... huh.
Take that!
Maya? Oh, I see. She was being held hostage at the time. Right, she was being held hostage at the time, so it seemed only natural that she wasn't around. But then, how did... what would the minister... okay, I may have to rethink Inga's role in this, because he wouldn't have just been like, wait a minute, hold on. I'd have to go back and rewatch it to see if there was something I missed in the conversation that would have hinted at this, but I mean, it's the least impossible compared to the other two options. Right, and so you remember what she said earlier. Yeah, she said there was some kind of tell me, what exactly are you hiding? Yeah. I promised Dirk I wouldn't say. Yeah, well, that's gotta be it then. A pretty big one. Dirk didn't want his own death to be known. The other members of the Defiant Dragons would lose all hope if they found out, and that would snuff out the flames of revolution for good. Miss Faye, Dirk told you to keep quiet about this, didn't he? I guess it's no use hiding it anymore. Yes, I promised not to tell. Dirk made me promise before he died. So I was right then. Apollo? There's something I need to tell you. It's about, you know, Dirk's final moments. Oh boy. I'm listening, Miss Faye. What happened in his final moments? It was soon after I was kidnapped. Dirk paid me a visit in that tomb where I was being held captive. I'd say it was a few days before Minister Inga's murder. Hey, young lady. Time to get you up and out of here. Oh. It's that revolutionary guy. I'm here to rescue you. You are? Why? I figured things were a little too quiet with that stamp-sucking scumbag. So I started digging around. That's when I found out you'd been abducted. But why would a rebel help me? Let's go before it's too late. It already is for you, pal. Oh no. Long time no see, you rebel blowhard. Inga, I know you're up to something, and I'm going to find out what. Dang. It's kinda smart. You've become a real thorn in my side, see? So it's time for you to be pushing up daisies. Jeez. Did you really think a pea shooter like that could kill a dragon? What the? What are you, some kind of freak? Nuts to this. Dirk was shot several times, but he barely even flinched. He sacrificed himself for me. Oh. These ropes. I've got to help you. Relax. It's going to be okay. Sorry things turned out this way. But it doesn't look like I have much longer. No, don't say that. You're a spirit medium, aren't you? When I'm gone, I want you to channel my spirit. Stop it. Don't give up like that. If you do, untying a rope like that'll be child's play. No. Please, hang in there. You can still make it. But promise me one thing, young lady. It's about my son. Dirk. He's talking about you, Apollo. He said he wanted to see you one last time. So he asked me to return to the US and channel his spirit. He really said that? Mm-hmm. He also said he'd been meaning to visit you for years, but kept putting it off. And that this was his last chance. You really did come to the US because you wanted to see me. I guess this means it was Inga that hid Dirk's body in the sarcophagus after Maya left the tomb. Apollo, you can't stop now. Dirk would want you to keep pressing on. I know, Miss Faye, and I won't disappoint him. Defense, if you are ready to proceed, I would first have you answer this. Do you believe the accused's deaths will impact what we know about this case? Well, it'll definitely clear him on the first murder. Yes, and I believe I can explain everything now. Very well. Your explanation, please. Dirk entered the tomb at 3 p.m., the time the hostage exchange was to take place. Or rather, Dirk, as channeled by Miss Faye, did. Now, by the time he entered the tomb at 3 p.m., Minister Inga was already dead. I say that because we know the minister was murdered at 2 p.m. But there was someone else in there. This person was already hiding in the tomb, waiting to channel Dirk in place of Miss Faye.
Take that!
It's the only way to switch it. So it's a switcheroo, it's the only way it makes sense. The fact of the matter is, Queen Amara killed Minister Inga at 2 p.m. She then went to his private quarters and channeled his spirit. The minister, thinking he was going to be late, hurried to the tomb for the hostage exchange. But once in the tomb, Queen Amara stopped channeling Minister Inga and hid herself. Then, when Dirk entered at 3 p.m., she snuck up from behind and forcibly drove Dirk's spirit out of Miss Faye's body. Drove his spirit out of her body? Impossible.
Objection!
Actually, there is a way to do that. With a Magatama of parting, that is. Using one, anyone could drive a spirit out of a person's body, even if it refused to leave. Are you telling me that the extra pale brown Magatama in the tomb was... Oh yeah. That it was. That's right, Prosecutor Sutmati, and you've seen one in action before. You saw the glowing red Magatama sent the High Priest back to the Twilight Realm. And how it turned to spent pale brown afterwards. Huh, I hadn't noticed that part. In other words, the brown Magatama found in the tomb looks that way because its power had been used up in pushing Dirk's spirit out of Miss Faye's body, right? Probably passed out as soon as Dirk's spirit left my body. I was exhausted after channeling him for so long. Yeah, she's been just straight up channeling him for like several days straight now or something. After that, Queen Amara must have dressed Miss Faye in her usual outfit and tied her up. I'm not sure where she got the outfit. We can assume she had it all planned out. Then, Queen Amara must have changed into Dirk's clothes, smeared blood on them, picked up the knife, and channeled Dirk's spirit. That's how she made it look like Dirk had committed the crime. And that's how she escaped, right under our noses. God. I don't know, Apollo. The whole thing still seems a bit far-fetched. Dirk, what was going through your mind while all this was unfolding? So ultimately, it was all for naught. Mayuta? Those dreams of revolution Dirk was always spouting. They placed nothing but false hope in the minds of the people. And in the end, they were simply fantasies. Mayuta, how can you... Karma has spoken. The dream of revolution is withered on the vine. Its fate is sealed. The other insurgents will soon wake from their shattered dreams. No, Dirk's dream can't die like this. I'm not going to sit back and let that happen. I can't, and I won't. Yuta, don't forget that Dirk's been proven innocent. His name is no longer tainted by the charge of murder. Now the rebels and their sympathizers who've been calling for his release can't be charged with abetting the accused. So the revolution is far from over. It's only just begun.
Objection!
No, Dirk has not yet been proven innocent. You have merely indicated the possibility of his innocence. What do you mean? Dirk is indeed dead. However, what if it was Dirk who killed Minister Ingo while being channeled by Miss Fey? And while the crime could have occurred at 2 p.m., you have yet to substantively prove it. Or do you have conclusive proof that the time of Minister Ingo's death was 2 p.m.? Well, no, I don't, but... It seems further testimony will be required of me. As it would appear that I have fallen under suspicion, I would like to state my case. Prosecutor Sadmati, the rebellion must be snuffed out once and for all. You must prove Dirk Sadmati to be the foul murderer that he was. And every last insurgent and their sympathizers must be found guilty under the Defense Culpability Act. As you wish, Your Eminence. Why is Nayuta doing this? Garan shouldn't have him under her thumb anymore. Mara's not a hostage, so what gives? Nayuta, what's left to chain you to her like this? Very well then, Queen Amara. Please proceed with your additional testimony. Well done, lawyer. You have painted me as a killer with nothing but your silver tongue. However, you have no evidence proving your distasteful theory. Furthermore, Dirk could have committed the crime while being channeled by Miss Fey. Now, let us end this charade. For the eternal glory of Kurain and its people. Do you understand now, you putrid pepper? There is no point in defending Dirk any longer. It has all been in vain. Let it go and move on, right? Well, not today. Your theories are but a pillar of salt that crumbles at the slightest breeze. But no more. This ends here and now. The defense may proceed with its cross-examination. Convincing others is all part of a lawyer's trade, so I'll take that as a compliment. You would, wouldn't you? I suppose you have deceived countless souls with your lies. But I should not be surprised, considering you learned from him. Him? You mean Dirk, right? Yes, the man who deceived and seduced me, a grand priestess with his silver tongue. We are still talking about the case, right? Surely you've heard of a lady falling for the wrong man before. But to think that I, of all people, would fall under that devil's spell. Wow, how did they ever get together in the first place, let alone program? I would advise all here today to beware this lawyer's silver tongue, lest you too be unjustly painted as a criminal as I have been.
Hold it!
I admit I don't have any solid evidence, yet. But you're the only one who could have committed the crime. What on earth do you mean? Including Miss Fey, there are only 3 spirit mediums in Kurain. Furthermore, when the crime scene was first discovered, Queen Garan was with me and Mr. Wright, while Miss Fey was tied up in the tomb. That means that the Dirk we saw after the minister's murder could only have been channeled by you, Queen Amara. Insolent lawyer. Forgive us your mercifulness. Really, Your Majesty?
Objection.
But have you considered the following defense? What if there was, unbeknownst to us, another spirit medium in Kurain?
Objection.
Oh, come on. What are the chances? You lack the evidence to support your claim that Queen Amara is the killer, which is why you've had to use the process of elimination to zero in on her. It therefore stands to reason that you would have to rule out all other possibilities as well. Well, can you eliminate the possibility of another spirit medium defense? Of course I can't. In the circumstances, Apollo, there are two ways to establish Amara's guilt. We either prove she killed Inga, or prove she was in the tomb. Which one can I actually prove? So I either have to prove that she was the one who stabbed him at 2 p.m. or I have to prove that she was the one who knocked out Maya and took her place. Can we eliminate the possibility that someone else did it? Is the idea that if there was another spirit medium, and they somehow got into the tomb, that shouldn't be possible once they had a bunch of eyes on it, because they would have been spotted. feel like maybe this button is going to be the key, because he got stabbed. Okay, got it. Because when she killed him and then channeled him, he had to have dressed up like him and head back into the tomb dressed as him, then switch back out of that. But then she would have had to get rid of the jacket that he wore, but the button wouldn't necessarily be burned up. So I think we'd go with this one. Amara killed Minister Inga, and I can prove it. Well now, you seem quite confident. Well, very intriguing, though I must say, there's nothing that proves it was I who killed Justice Minister Inga.
Hold it!
So you didn't leave any evidence behind, is that what you're saying? Oh ho ho ho. Did you truly believe you could trick me with such an ambiguously phrased question? Were I to answer in the affirmative, you would twist my words into admission of guilt. It was worth a shot. You should know that you cannot prove anything through the deceit of others. If there is something worthwhile to say, then let the evidence speak for itself. I think I wouldn't if I could. Now do you see, all is idle speculation in the absence of evidence.
Hold it!
You're saying the Dirk who entered the tomb is the one who killed Minister Inga? I am. I stand firm with the prosecution's original charge against the accused. The only issue is whether that Dirk was alive or dead. It's a pretty major issue. Oh, I beg to differ. For here in Kurain, death is not the end. It's merely a change in one's address, for the Twilight Realm is only the next door over. Is it really? It is. Those who have only recently passed away may call upon you in the night. Such occurrences are quite common in our kingdom. She's kidding, right? All the time I've spent here, I'm happy to say that's never happened to me. Me neither. You need not fear death. Embrace it along with your guilt. Then may you begin your journey to the Twilight Realm. Now let us end this charade for the eternal... whatever, we'll see what she has to say about this. Eternal glory. Since the king of traitors has been judged, and the rebellion quelled for good, peace and prosperity shall return to our fair kingdom. Then shall the blessings of the Holy Mother usher in an age of eternal glory. Queen Amara is the Grand Priestess of Kurain once more. People would be freed from subversive elements. Faith would blossom anew. Oh, you are too kind, but I have no intention of resuming my position as Grand Priestess. What? I relinquished my position as Queen and Grand Priestess to my sister Garan. And now that my would-be assassin is gone, I am truly free at last. Oh ho ho, perhaps I shall take a trip, or expand my horizons with new training. Queen Amara? It's like she's totally over being Grand Priestess and Queen. Ha 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 ha. In that case, I shall introduce you to some wonderful classes that I'm taking. Proof that Amara killed Inga. You really have anything like that? If nothing comes to mind, Apollo, you might need to get some different testimony out of her. No. I think we've got this one.
Objection!
What is that noise? Oh, that was one of my Chords of Steel voice training. Oh, I guess it's not it then. We should keep such caterwauling out of this sacred hall. I thought that would be it. No, her fingerprints wouldn't be on the knife because then she put... I don't know if your... I would assume your fingerprints change when you're being... I actually don't know. Huh.
Objection!
Okay, that's not it. Maybe your fingerprints do change. Well, if her evidence says so, then I suppose there's no point in wasting time on it. Okay, if it's not these two... The other thing I can think of is Albie's statement. I don't think it's that. Because I think they'll claim that that wasn't proof. So...
Hold it!
The one other thing that I think is possible is that you were ever bent on painting me as the killer. Well, if the shoot fits, then well, let us see some evidence that proves I was at the scene of the crime. You do have some, do you not?
Hold it!
By simply changing into Dirk's clothes and channeling his spirit, is the fact that the killer altered the crime scene. Very perceptive of you. In trying to accomplish everything, the killer would have been pressed for time, and may have committed an error that could prove crucial to this case. Sometimes the significance of certain pieces of evidence can change in the face of new facts and circumstances. Why don't you take another look at all the evidence we have? Think I'll see something in a new light? Is there anything from the tomb that's taken on a different meaning now? I think... if this one is here, there should only be one butterfly. How are there two of them?
Objection!
Yeah, that's it. I thought it was his, but it was actually hers. Does this pendant look familiar to you? Why, that is... we found it in the tomb, and it has the minister's blood on it. Which means it was probably dropped in the course of the crime.
Objection!
And I fail to see how it is relevant to your argument. That not belong to the accused? That's what I thought too. After all, Dirk had said it did himself. He said that? Yes, but it was a lie. Because I believe he was covering for someone. Covering? How? For who? There's a certain piece of evidence that shows the pendant isn't Dirk's.
Take that!
It's a photo of the accused body, is it not? Yes, it is, and I'd like to call your attention to a certain spot in it. Yeah, it's right there now that you see it.
Take that!
You'll notice an object near Dirk's left arm. It's an identical pendant, except it's... oh. Yeah, I wouldn't have noticed the color difference. Oh, now that you mention it... don't you find that a little strange? Why would he own two of them, but in different colors? Here's what I think. The pendants were meant to go together as a pair. A pair? The blue pendant was Dirk's. And then what about this pink one with Minister Inga's blood on it? Who do you suppose it belongs to? I wonder...
Objection!
Sorry to disappoint, but no fingerprints were found on the pink pendant. Therefore, we have no way of knowing to whom it belongs.
Objection!
Yeah, but he didn't know that it opens. Ah, but that's where you're wrong, Prosecutor Sudmati. I'm guessing you didn't know that this pendant is actually a locket. Come again? Now this is where it gets interesting. When we open this locket up, we found a faint fingerprint inside, on the back of the lid to be exact. What? No. So now the question is, to whom does the fingerprint belong? Somebody's sweating. Queen Amara. Belongs to you, doesn't it? Oh. Seems I've truly rendered the witness speechless this time around. This cannot be! Mother, tell me it does not belong to you. Nayuta, Think about it, Queen Amara. Dirk must have realized that you were channeling his spirit, and he had probably already figured out who the minister's killer was. And yet, he still claimed that the pink pendant belonged to him. But why would he do such a thing? You really don't know. He was protecting you. Because he loved you. He loved you until his very last breath and beyond. Mm-hmm. He already knew who did it. He'd be betraying a certain someone if I did. Dirk knew everything, even that he was being used. But he kept quiet, all for your sake. Dirk, why do you always... Well, Queen Amara? Dirk, the one whose love for you never wavered all these years. Are you going to betray him now? Dirk, That says all he needs to say. This cannot be. I refuse to accept it. Queen Amara, are you ready to confess to your crime? I can deny it no longer. The truth is, it was I, Amara Sigatar Kurain, who slew Minister Inga. It's preposterous. Yeah. This is beyond belief. Mother, why would you... Forgive me, Nayuta. I never wished to cause you such sorrow. But I had no choice. It was the only way. The only way? So, in the end, Queen Amara and Dirk Sadmati, I suppose this means that they were unable to reconcile while he was still alive. I don't think the state of the kingdom or the incidents of the past would have allowed that. They were prisoners of their shared history, so to speak. Queen Amara, there's something I need to know. You had staged a near-perfect crime. So why did you bring this pendant into the tomb with you? You should have known it could come back to haunt you. I do not really understand it myself. Merely been assassinated by my own husband. Yet I could not bear any hatred toward him. I was unable to discard this or part with it for even a short time. As with Dirk, I have never stopped loving my husband for the past 23 years. Mother. So she really believes it, that Dirk tried to assassinate her. Your Majesty, is it not time? Time to declare Dirk innocent. I would ask that you do this for my beloved, who now dwells in the Twilight Realm. Very well, then. Your Eminence, Prosecutor Samadhi, if you have no further objections... This cannot be. My mother? I have no objections. Dirk, I did it. I finally did it. I proved your innocence. But... Very well, then. Being that Queen Amara yet lives, we can no longer charge the accused with an assassination that never came to fruition. As for the murder of Minister Inga, the truth has been laid bare for all to see. Therefore, I will now pass judgment upon the accused, Mr. Dirk Sadmati. Your benevolence? I cannot accept this. Is something the matter, your benevolence? Queen Amara is lying. It makes no sense. Queen Amara would not have killed my father. What's with her all of a sudden? Is this some sort of lingering affection towards Nena? Rafa. Speak the truth, Queen Amara. Did you really kill my father? Yes, there is no mistake. She has confessed to the crime, thereby clearing the accused of all suspicion. As such, I see no need to continue these proceedings. Barbed head, hornhead, are you going to let this stand? Dirk's been proven innocent. He's about to be declared not guilty. Even so, something doesn't feel right. Apollo, if you have any doubts, now's the time to raise them. After all, the courtroom is a place for finding the whole truth. But it's all up to you. There are definitely things that don't quite add up. Does this mean that the whole truth hasn't been brought to light yet? Should I push to continue this trial? I'm gonna save. Because I think we need to keep going. I just... Because there's still the matter of the assassination attempt from 23 years ago. Attempt. Your Majesty, I have a feeling we haven't discovered the whole truth. The only way we'll ever find it is to continue this trial. Hornhead! Very well then, will the defense please tell us this? What important fact about this case has yet to come to life? Queen Amara, there's something I still don't understand. What was your motive for killing Justice Minister Inga? That is a fair question, and one that I shall now answer. It was for the future of this kingdom that I slew Inga Karkul Kurain. To avert further tragedy, his death was an unfortunate necessity. Further tragedy? Over the past several years, Minister Inga has been rapidly expanding his power. He had established the secret police and was relentless in his pursuit of the insurgents. He even had the overwhelming support of the people, but still he was not satisfied. Hungry for more power, he began planning a coup d'etat. You mean his plot involving the Founder's Orb, which led to Maya Fei's abduction. Yes, Minister Inga planned to use the orb to gain access to great spiritual power. after which he would assassinate Garan and usurp the throne. His machinations were reminiscent of that terrible tragedy of 23 years ago, and as one affected by that incident, Amara vowed to never allow a repeat of such events. Yes, and the Holy Mother delivered unto me the perfect opportunity to fulfill my vow. Security amid the courtyard was rather light due to the rite of channeling. Uninga had barricaded himself in the tomb with his hostage away from prying eyes. I knew I would never again have such a perfect opportunity, so... At 2 p.m., during the rite of channeling, I slipped into the tomb and slew the minister. My bracelet? Apollo. Yep. It seems this trial is far from over. Holy shit. Queen Amara, I believe you're still hiding something. But if you want to keep on playing this game of hide and seek, let's start with that last statement you made. If I must. And I guess I'll just... It's like the... Is it this... Maybe it's this thing? I was watching for her...
Gotcha!
Was the finger. It's really slight. Queen Amara, you're not very comfortable talking about the 2 o'clock rite of channeling, are you? I can tell because a finger on your left hand twitched almost imperceptibly when you did. Oh? And that pose you make, is there something about your chest that makes you nervous? Whatever you do mean. The murder occurred at 2 p.m., and I'm pretty positive Amara was in the tomb at the time. So then why is she so self-conscious about her chest when she talks about the rite? The rite of channeling. Didn't Albie snap a picture of it? Queen Amara, I have here a picture of the rite of channeling. I don't get it. What am I... Secretly taken by a certain individual.
Objection!
Such insolence! I would have the perpetrator's name at once. Sorry, no can do. You see, I just happened to find it on the ground, so... Do you take me for a fool? How about we discuss the photo's origin a little later, because right now... There's something much more pressing at hand. I believe this photo merits further examination. Just wish there was more to see in it than darkness and more darkness. Might be able to make out a few more details with some image adjustments. Let's ask Emma if she can help. Bailiff, please summon Detective Skye to the Hall of Justice. Can you do this with a picture that's already been taken? Here you are. I was able to obtain a much clearer image by raising the... It's a photo! Injury? No, wait. I think it's a burn scar. Okay, setting aside... Hold on a minute. Maybe it's possible. I don't know that much about photography. Whatever. Wait a second, Your Eminence. You don't have a burn scar like that on your chest. Huh. You're gonna regret wearing that outfit today. What's going on here? So wait, is there another switcheroo happening here?
Take that!
Queen Amara, the person in this photo isn't Queen Garan. It's you posing as her, isn't it? The two of you look quite similar, but that's no surprise considering you're sisters. The shape and position of your facial tattoos are almost exactly the same. Oh yeah, those are lower. They're closer to the one, yeah. You were both capable of channeling spirits. Therefore, it would have been easy for you to impersonate Queen Garan. Queen Amara, you have a burn scar on your chest, don't you? Please remove your round mandala so we can see what's behind it for ourselves. There it is. So what does this mean? The exact same burn scars on the photo. So if she was there at 2, then the one doing the murdering... I knew it. So the person in this photo really is... Yes, it's Queen Amara. This is absurd. Are you suggesting they switched places? Amara's confession earlier was also false. Mother, what is the meaning of this? Don't you see? This changes everything. We know for a fact that this photo was taken at 2 p.m., the exact time the murder took place. But that would mean Queen Amara couldn't have possibly committed this crime. But someone else could have. She now has an ironclad alibi, so Minister Inga's killer couldn't have been Queen Amara. I'm afraid I no longer follow defense. Was it not Queen Amara who channeled the minister and the accused to stage the crime? Yes, that fact has not changed. You have evidence placing her at the scene of the crime. And Dirk could have only been there in the tomb if she were channeling him. Which means, while Queen Amara did use spirit channeling to stage the crime, she didn't kill Minister Inga. His real killer is someone else. I think I know who it is. Is her mercifulness covering for someone? If Queen Amara is not the killer, then who is it? Isn't it obvious? The person who no longer has an alibi. How was this rite held in the first place if Queen Garan wasn't going to perform it? Who was behind the two sisters switching places, and for what reason? The answers to these questions, along with the establishment of Queen Amara's alibi, obliterate a certain someone else's alibi.
Take that!
Why, is this some kind of a joke? No, Your Majesty, I could never joke about something so grave. The only one who seemed to have a perfect alibi at the time of the murder was Her Eminence, Garan Sigatar Kurain. Queen Amara, didn't your sister Queen Garan ask you to pose as her and perform the rite of channeling? And didn't she also have you drive Dirk's spirit from Miss Faye's body, and then stage the crime to make it look like he was the minister's killer? And at 2 p.m., while you were performing the rite of channeling as Queen Garan, didn't she kill Minister Inga while disguised as Dirk? Well, your mercifulness? It's no use trying to hide it any longer. You need to tell us the truth now. Mother? Justice Minister Inga's true killer is... Mother? No! Ha 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 ha! I really did it. Your Eminence, my life is yours. Isn't he one of Garan's royal guards? Queen Amara? Bailiff, arrest that guardsman. Mother. Garan couldn't have. Could she? Someone call for an ambulance, quickly now! Lucky the ambulance made it in time. But we've been forced into a recess for now while things get straightened out. I can't believe what just happened. Tell me about it. Do you think Garan put that guard up to it? If she did, she's going to regret it. No one gets away with something like that on my watch. Poor Queen Amara. Your benevolence. Any news on her condition? She is undergoing surgery at the hospital as we speak. They are giving her a 50-50 chance of survival, though. Garan, justice will be served. Why? Why did this happen? Just as we were finally reunited. Queen Amara... what was that about being reunited? Oh, it's nothing. Right. How are you, Hornhead? Dirk Sadmati was your father in all but blood, after all. Thank you for your concern, your benevolence. But I'm fine. Right now, we still have a trial to see through. So that's what I'm going to stay focused on. Hornhead, you're sturdier than your stature lets on. Just don't overdo it, okay, Apollo? Dirk, that was a real shocker, all right. Can't believe the dragon is dead. Say, AJ, I was wondering, when Dirk disappeared after I freed him, That's because Amara turned back into herself, right? Yeah, I suppose so. I don't know if it was because Dirk's spirit willed it, or if it was a part of Garan or Amara's plan. Man, our dream of revolution. Now what are we gonna do? Is this it? Don't give up yet. There's a very good chance that Garan is the real culprit in all this, if we can prove her guilt in court. Hey, you're right. That could be just the push we need. The dream lives on. Yes, it does. You know what that means, HA? The fate of the revolution rests squarely on your shoulders. All in a day's work. Who am I kidding? It's a ton of pressure. This is what Dirk gave his life for, so I have to do this for him. The Honorable Rebel Dirk Sadmati. I would have loved to have spoken with him while he yet lived. Really? Why not? I mean, he seemed like quite an interesting man. Did she bump her head or something earlier? The trial is about to resume. The defense is to report to the courtroom at once. Already? After what just happened? The first thing Garan will do is respond to that last accusation. So you'd better stay on your toes, Apollo. I will, Mr. Wright. Ready or not, Garan, here comes justice. Oh boy. Now then, let us resume today's proceedings. Huh? Where's Nayuta? I must offer my apologies. I never imagined a royal guardsman would do such a thing. What? He wasn't acting under your orders? How dare you cast such suspicions upon Her Eminence? It is quite all right, your Majesty. Suspicion is only natural under such circumstances. But rest assured that he acted alone, for I knew nothing of his plans. I don't believe that for a second. Now then, your Majesty, regarding the murder of my husband, Minister Inga, I would like to offer a new possibility. A new possibility, you say? Indeed, for during the break, the real killer confessed to me. What? Bailiff, call the witness to the stand. The real killer confessed? What's she got up to her sleeve this time? I have a really bad feeling about this. He's the one who confessed? Oh, brother. Literally. Prosecutor Samadi, you're the real killer? I questioned him during the recess as I felt that Amara had been covering for someone. It was that he finally confessed his crime to me. Nayuta, you didn't really do it, did you? Her Eminence speaks the truth. It was I who killed Justice Minister Inga. Nayuta! I mean, seriously, how many people are gonna throw themselves under the bus for this lady? Prosecutor Sadmati, are you absolutely certain about this? A confession of this nature is grave indeed. Yes, I am certain, for I killed him by my own hand. At last, the real killer has been revealed. How are we supposed to respond to this? Nayuta, retract your confession, now! Mr. Justice, it is not yet time for your cross-examination. Who cares about that? Admit it. It was Queen Garan who put you up to this. She forced you into giving a confession, didn't she? You are out of line, Mr. Justice. Learn some self-restraint. But Or do you have something that might prove that I did not commit this murder? That is... What do you think you're doing, you idiot? Truly, the truth can set us free. It's like Garan got to him somehow. He definitely didn't see this coming. Nayuta, why are you doing this? Why would you sacrifice even your life to do Garan's bidding? Whatever the case may be, Prosecutor Samadhi, your testimony, please. Remain silent while Her Eminence fell under suspicion for this crime. It was I who murdered Justice Minister Inga. I had to die for the future of Kurain. Consider it divine judgment cast upon a fiend who sought to assassinate our monarch. My mother was simply covering for me. I am ashamed I let her go so far for my sake. You do understand what you're doing, right, Nayuta? You're sentencing yourself to death if you're found guilty. If that is the court's verdict, then so be it. I must obey the law above all else. The law, Nayuta, or the Queen.
Objection!
Enough. This blather has nothing to do with the witness's testimony. Please address any issues you may have during the cross-examination, defense. Oh, I will. I'm going to blow his problematic testimony to smithereens. Quiet all this time, even though you were the real killer? Yes, I accept that what I have done can never be forgiven. I never imagined suspicion would fall upon the Queen herself. Prosecutor Samadhi has placed the future of our kingdom above his own life. He is taking responsibility for his crime and is showing his loyalty to Queen and country. Without a monarch on the throne, Kurain would be plunged into chaos. I could never wish that upon my homeland. That is why I had to let the truth be known. A bunch of baloney. I'm going to ask you again, Nayuta. Did you really kill Mr. Inga? Yes. No matter how many times you ask, Mr. Justice, the truth is immutable. I mean, the problem is he hasn't really given us a lot to work with.
Hold it!
It's not too late. You can still retract your confession before the verdict is rendered. There's no retracting the truth. One either tells it or does not tell it. It is that simple. You always have to be so stubborn, Nayuta. I hate how you never listen to reason once you get like this. I think we'll need some evidence before we can get him to retract his confession. Either that or we'll have to force a retraction out of him by appealing to what's in his heart. It's not going to be easy either way. Prosecutor Samadhi, what was the motive for your crime? Had reason enough to kill Minister Inga. What do you mean by that? Minister Inga was planning to assassinate Her Eminence in a coup d'etat. I had to nip this evil in the bud, even if it cost me the purity of my soul. So you're saying the death of another is a reasonable price to pay to protect the Queen? Long as we remained independent under the authority of our spirit medium queens, we command the people's awe and respect with the power to commune with the dead. Without such a monarch, our kingdom would lose its standing in the world. If spirit channeling is so important, why did you have Queen Amara perform the rite? I'm afraid my elder sister is quite capricious. She would fulfill her duty only when the desire struck, as sporadic as that was. Her duty? What about your duty? It's therefore something she did on a whim. There was no meaning behind it. Wait. Her duty when the desire struck is sporadic. Something she did on a whim. There's no meaning behind it. What? A meaningless whim? It's hard to press a statement like that. Now, if I may return to my testimony... Is there divine judgment?
Hold it!
Divine judgment? Yes, I rendered judgment upon the minister on behalf of the Holy Mother. Are you saying the Holy Mother guided you? No, Her Holiness would never condone killing in her name, regardless of circumstances. As such, I believe my defiled soul will be damned to hell. But I do not regret what I have done. I willingly sacrificed my soul to protect this kingdom's future. Snap out of it already, Nayuta. His motive comes from a place of faith, huh? Why does that sound completely credible when it's coming from him? Amara expressed a similar motive. As for her mercifulness, she is truly deserving of her title. Cybersecurity covering for me, I'm ashamed I let her go so far for my sake. So you killed Minister Inga, and Queen Amara staged the crime. Is that how it went? Precisely. My mother is as clever as she is kind. She sought to conceal my crime by taking all the guilt upon herself. Yet another lie. I need to poke a hole in his testimony, but how? Nayuta, could it be you? You didn't realize that Nena was actually Queen Amara, your own mother? That is not as strange as you might think. Much time had passed since we last met, after all. Right. 23 years ago, was it? And Dirk saved her after the supposed assassination attempt. No, Mr. Justice. It was 15 years ago that Dirk abducted my mother. Huh? That's weird. Are you sure about that? I remember it clearly. I was around 10 years old at the time. Nayuta, please add that last statement to your testimony. She reunited with my mother, Queen Amara, 15 years ago when Dirk abducted her.
Hold it!
15 years ago, huh? That's around the time I left for the US. What happened after Dirk helped Queen Amara escape? The agents of the Crown pursued us relentlessly, so we had to live a life on the run. Mr. Justice, know that Dirk sent you away so that you would not be caught up in that life we led. I see. Thanks. Can't believe it's been 15 years. Apollo, there's something about Nayuta's testimony. Yeah, that discrepancy's a bit hard to miss, but what could it mean? So Nayuta got to meet his mother, back when Dirk rescued her. That's what he's saying. It's news to me, though. I had already been sent away by that point. Okay, now that I've dragged more testimony out of him, what can I do with it? I mean, I feel like it's gotta be this photo. Because why would she have that book otherwise?
Objection!
You're saying that Dirk made off with Queen Amara 15 years ago. But that's strange, because I heard something very different from Dirk. He said that they ran off together 23 years ago. That is impossible. I know for a fact it was 15 years ago. Well, I have evidence that contradicts your statement. How do you explain this photo? Dirk said it was taken 23 years ago. He said that? He did, but if we take what you just said as fact, then there's something in this photo that doesn't make any sense. This isn't making any sense to me, so I should ask, what does not make sense if the photo is only 15 years old?
Take that!
It's not the book. Nayuta, this discrepancy may not be directly related to this case, but I don't think we can simply overlook it either. Dirk said the baby in the photo was you, but that doesn't make any sense if the photo is only 15 years old. After all, you said you were around 10 then, right? He's definitely sweating bullets over there over something. Apollo, this baby isn't Nayuta. Wait, you don't think... Did Queen Amara have another child while she was on the run? What? And just what if that child were being held hostage? Mayuta, is that why you obey Queen Garon's every command? You presume too much. Ah, and that's why Queen Amara was trying to take the rap as well. To protect this other child. A child born 15 years ago. It'd have to be someone who's around 14 or 15 years old now. This is just a guess. I believe I know someone who fits the bill. This also explains the strange behavior. This is the child who was born to Dirk and Queen Amara 15 years ago. All those strange statements she kept making, now they all make sense. So that's what that all meant. Yeah. Now I see, Nayuta, why you do what you're told. The other child born to Dirk and Queen Amara was... Mr. Justice, I believe I know what you were about to say. I cannot allow you to name an innocent soul as the child of the terrible sinners. I thought you might try to stop me. After all, simply revealing this information endangers who you've been trying to protect. I think this should make it clear what I'm talking about. This is the chink in your armor, the reason why you fear for your sibling's reputation. What was it? Was it here? Yeah, he was expelled from the royal family as the son of the terrorist. Since the father visited upon his children is deeply rooted in the minds of Kurenga's people.
Take that!
And that is a file full of information that Dirk collected on what happened 23 years ago. Of particular note right now is what's written here. The sins of the father are visited upon his children. This deeply held idea is why you were expelled from the royal family. Which means it wouldn't bode well for your sibling either, if she were revealed to be Dirk's daughter. You became a prosecutor to bring down Queen Garon, but at some point you came to serve the very regime you despised, and that was because the Queen found this chink in your armor. That's how she came to use your sister against you. Nayuta, have you been keeping this secret all this time? Have you been trying to protect me? You are an innocent party to all this. I live only to safeguard the law and serve the country and queen from which it flows. One such as you, who is destined to ascend to the throne, need not fret over one such as I. No, I cannot accept that. What you say is, it's malarkey. Don't you even care what happens to you? Before country, queen, law, and everyone's future, my personal feelings are of no consequence. That is why I resign myself to my fate. I know I must accept the status quo without any thoughts of change. Spoken like a true prosecutor and patriot, I shall continue to rule Kurain until the day Rafa succeeds me, for that is what is best for our kingdom. I know, Your Eminence. Yours is no small sacrifice, but I promise you this, in exchange for your life, the child shall remain safe, and this kingdom shall prosper. That is all I can ask for with my meager existence. Nayuta, is this really the new you? Resigning yourself to the will of another and killing any hope you held for the future? No, the Nayuta I knew would never let himself be turned into this. Now, Your Majesty, if you would hand down your verdict.
Objection!
You can say you're simply accepting your fate, Nayuta, but I know that deep down there is still hope in your heart. Oh, Holy Mother, preserve me. It's the kind of hope that perseveres through the most desperate of times. And it's what binds you, me, and Dirk together as a family. I know, because this has demonstrated to me that you haven't lost all hope yet. Because he never confiscated it.
Take that!
When you interrogated Dirk, you confiscated all of his possessions as potential evidence. All except this. Did you take your attorney's badge too? No, I thought it strange, but just when it looked like he was going to take it from me, he changed his mind. So tell me, Nayuta, why didn't you take his badge? You couldn't bear to take it from him, could you? I know why. It's because this badge means something special to us. Hey, Dirk. Why do you still wear your badge? You're not a lawyer anymore, right? This badge is my heart and soul, son. I'll never stop trying to realize my dream, not until my very last breath. The dragon never yields, right? No, that was Nayuta. Exactly. Nayuta, Apollo, I vow to restore Kodain's legal system to its rightful state one day. I want to pass on to you a world where you can live free from the fear of tyranny. You may say you've given up, but that's not how it really is it? You never gave up, and you never will, because you still believe that all of the wrongs will be righted someday, don't you? You are very perceptive, Mr. Justice. It may very well be as you say. Why did I not confiscate this badge? Even I did not know. Until now. Perhaps I was waiting for him to save me. Save you? Yes, save me. Like he did on that day. Someday, he would come and free our family from the chains of the past. Perhaps deep down, that is what I believed. I believed in Dirk, our father. Nayuta, I knew you. However, it was but a dream. And now that dream has died. Murdered, along with Dirk. So now, as the eldest, the responsibility falls squarely onto me. No matter the cost, I must protect her. Please, try to understand, Apollo. Understand why I shall bear all this sin. It is the only way. But
Such insolence!
you have wasted more than enough of my time, lawyer. Do you not see the futility of your desperate floundering, the immutability of his duty? It is time to accept defeat. And now, watch as the hammer of justice comes down upon your dear brother. Your Majesty, the verdict, if you will. Yes, Your Eminence.
Objection!
Wait a second. I do. Does the defense wish to raise an objection? There's gotta be some way to save Nayuta. Apollo. It all goes back to that incident 23 years ago. It's branded him the son of a criminal. So if we could once and for all prove that Dirk didn't try to assassinate Amara, right, Nayuta and Rafa's father would no longer be viewed as a criminal. But I thought there wasn't any evidence left, because it was all destroyed in the fire. And Dirk investigated the matter for years but never managed to learn anything new. Really? Nothing at all? Can an exceptional lawyer like Dirk try that long and really uncover nothing at all? He had over 2 decades, Apollo. Huh? That's right. I doubt Dirk would have gone to his grave without discovering something new. He must have secretly planted something to topple Garan with somewhere. Take another look at the evidence. You just might find what we need to break out of this situation with in there. Got it. If the defense is done stalling for time, I shall now render my verdict. No, wait. About the assassination attempt 23 years ago. The defense has some new information it would like to share. You do? Well, we had intended to deliberate that case in the course of this trial. Dirk, did you leave something behind for me? Is there some connection I'm missing here? Very well, then. What is the source of your new information about the case from 23 years ago? Okay. Picture. These are all recent. Recent. I don't think there's anything in this that would... Residence. I slipped a sleeping pill in the fire. Fresh in the fire. The rifle found in the scene had Dirk's fingerprints on it. Apollo's roving musician father got caught up in this incident and lost his life. He was struck in the head. Wait. He was struck in the head by the culprit. The victim's passport and any pictures of him were burned up in the fire without knowing his real name. His real name of Jove Justice, you mean? Okay. I'm gonna save, because I'm not sure if they want me to present the picture or the file. I'll try the picture first, but I don't...
Take that!
Photograph? Yes, do you recall the traveling musician who died in that fire 23 years ago? How could anyone forget such a painful chapter in our history? The poor fellow was caught up in the blaze that was meant for Queen Amara. We never knew his identity, though, as his belongings were burnt to ashes. All about that. The truth is, he was my biological father. Oh? What? Why, of course. With his photo and her benevolence. Exactly. We might be able to prove Dirk completely innocent. And that would free her from the infamy of having criminal blood in her veins. Because here in Korain, we can witness the final memories of the dead. What utter nonsense! There was no evidence left in the wake of that blaze. That's what you think. But Dirk went to the ends of the earth to bring this little souvenir back for us. He did? Yep. Boy, is the best piece of evidence ever. He knew that with it, we'd finally be able to conclusively settle the matter here in court. and save his children. Your Majesty, the defense requests that we hold a divination seance for this new victim.
Objection!
What a waste of time. The events of 23 years past have already been deliberated at length.
Objection!
But wasn't Dirk on trial for that incident as well today? So we wouldn't be doing our jobs if we failed to look into this new lead, would we? The presiding judge, I will now share my thoughts on the matter. Attempted assassination of Queen Amara is a case we can ill afford to leave open, and I believe that the final memories of the victim will prove to be very important. Therefore, it is the opinion of this court that we should conduct another divination seance. Why, you... Your benevolence. If you knew the full name of the victim seen in this photo, you'd be able to perform a divination seance, right? Of course. Leave it to me. Thank you. My father's full name is... Jove Justice. Alright. One more time.
O Holy Mother, we hold this divination seance in your name. Let the eyes of everyone here be clear, and our ears be unstopped. O dance of devotion, guide the victim's soul to me, so that we may receive their final memories in the pool of souls.
The hand windmill will never cease to be funny. I thought about skipping, but I kind of half expected the queen to try something in the middle of this. Alright, let's see what happens. The victim is granted us a window into his final moments. It appeared the divination seance was a success. It's probably Apollo. Those were my father's final moments. The baby we saw must have been you, Apollo. I will now decipher the experience of the deceased. Are you ready, Almernhead? Yes, please proceed. Very well. Here are my interpretations of the facts as gleaned from the seance vision. Someone attempted to assassinate Queen Amara by setting her residence ablaze. Hornhead's father happened to stop by and was knocked out by the assassin. Dirk's fingerprints were discovered on the lighter found at the scene of the crime. That is how he was determined to be the assassin. Hornhead's father tried to save his son, but sadly he perished in the attempt. That is everything the deceased experienced in his final moments. My father's final memories. They're right here for everyone to see, but can any of them unlock the truth behind what happened 23 years ago? Let's see. Burning heat. I presume that's Queen Amara. Hold on a second. He was the reflection. Hold on, I think I've got this.
Objection!
Dirk's fingerprints were discovered in the lighter that was found at the crime scene. However, the reflection hand holding the lighter in the seance vision appears to be gloved. Ah, I believe you were right. What could this mean? It calls into question whether the hand in the vision really was Dirk's. If only we could make out the details a little better. Very well, I'll attempt to focus a bit more on what the deceased saw. Perhaps that will help refine the seance vision. It does seem that there was a glove on that hand. Still, what significance could that have? The cuffs! The Justice Minister wears the cuffs, but Ingo wasn't the Justice Minister at the time. Somebody else was the Justice Minister at the time. Dirk's fingerprints got on the lighter at some other time. Somebody could have even put them there after the fire.
Objection!
Oh, you're in trouble now, lady. All you have is pure speculation, while the fact remains that they are his fingerprints. Therefore, it stands to reason that Dirk was the one who used the lighter.
Objection!
It just means I have to prove that the figure in the vision is someone else, using the information in my father's final memories. Oh, it seems that I must revise my insights. So he put his finger. Okay, she's updated her insights. Time to go over them and see if there are any new inconsistencies to be found.
Objection!
Benevolence. This insight is inconsistent with the... What? Am I wrong about this? No, that's got to be them. Because they made a specific point of mentioning, like, oh, why does he wear these things? Because they probably, after a while, they forget why. And that was not just a throwaway line. That was specifically because of this thing. But now how do I... Oh, brother, now how do I do this? Someone's living. Trying to murder against the accused. There's somebody. Another charge of assassination 20 years ago. Will be dropped. This is to validate the confession of prosecutor Samani. Therefore, this court must accept his confession and hand down its verdict. I mean, it's funny that it's guilty, but technically we weren't defending him, so technically he would have to be found guilty in a later trial. Whatever. Alright, so if it's not that... Huh. Maybe I did it too quickly. Maybe I was supposed to wait until it... Hold on. I mean, that's gotta be it. Unless it's the lighter. But you wouldn't be able to see if there were fingerprints on the lighter.
Objection!
That's gotta be it. Okay, maybe I just didn't wait long enough. And this means that the real culprit is... The figure in this vision is clearly not Dirk. The distinctive band around their wrist gives their true identity away. Oh, I think she knows it too. Can't be. This will prove just whose hand was captured in the seance vision.
Take that!
That photo. So you do believe the culprit to be... Justice Minister Inga had cuffs with the exact same pattern on them. Referring to the cuffs of justice, correct? Yes, I hear they're a traditional part of Kurayanese Justice Minister's attire. But what does this tell us? It tells us that the figure in the vision is none other than Kurain's late Minister of Justice. Well, Apollo, hold on a second. So he plotted the assassination of the former queen as well as the current one? Mr. Inga? So then Dirk's innocent of both charges? Fine dragons, they've been right all along. Ayuta? What you've proposed is not possible, Apollo. For back then, Inga Karkul Kurain was not the Minister of Justice. Someone else was. The Justice Minister 23 years ago was... you, Queen Garan. So she both set the fire and murdered the minister. Served as the Minister of Justice before succeeding the throne. I guess she also prosecuted the assassination attempt 23 years ago as one. So then, the figure in this vision is actually... Your Eminence, it's you, isn't it? This is madness! Why would Her Eminence do such a thing? Because she would ascend to the throne. She wanted to usurp the throne from her sister Amara. That's why she tried to assassinate her. I find this all very hard to swallow. Your Eminence, are you the one responsible for tearing my family apart? She seems awfully calm for someone who is in not a deep trouble right now. And was it you who killed my father? Well, Your Eminence, I'm asking you a question.
Such insolence!
Peasants. Always carrying on about things of no import. You do not deny it then? You conceal the truth and use me for your own designs? Oh, Nayuta, spare me your feeble-minded line of questioning. Even if Dirk were cleared of all charges, it shall still be I who decides Rafa's fate. You do wish for her to be queen someday, do you not? Remember, the child lives only by my good graces. Now kneel before me and fulfill your end of the bargain by offering me your head. Your Eminence, I am done heeding your commands. Even as you used my sister against me, I still believed you. I believed that protecting your secrets was in the best interest of this kingdom. But you have been deceiving me all the while. Ayuta. Ayuta, you dare defy me? Your Eminence, I can turn the other cheek no more. Therefore, I hereby retract my confession in the murder of Justice Minister Inga. Retract, you say? Dirk, the final piece of evidence you left behind has released Nayuta from his suffering. And now he's finally free. All this time, not once did I reflect on my own conduct, for I believed all was fate. Lost in my own sense of resignation, I was unable to wait for my despair. But you, Apollo, you have awakened me with your demonstration of our father's creed.
A dragon never yields.
I will carry on Dirk's legacy and fulfill his dream. Hear me, Garan. I will cast you down from your bloody throne. Long live for the revolution. It was super late, but glad to have you finally on the right side. Insolent fool. Now even you prattle on about revolution? Gonna run out of nails that way. Well, Apollo, it seems we're finally making some headway down the road that Dirk carved out for us. Yeah. Now, if we could just prove Garon's guilt, we could continue on down that road towards the revolution Dirk dreamed of. Your Eminence, you have been accused of the crime committed 23 years ago. Would you like to say anything in your defense? Not so fast, Your Majesty. The cuffs could have been stolen and used without my knowledge, so you see, they can hardly be considered proof of anything. Why, I believe you're right. We know she's guilty. Well, lawyer, is there any other evidence you would have me refute? Unfortunately, this photo is the last piece of evidence Dirk left for me. So as far as evidence goes, I've got nothing else regarding that case from the past. However, now that Prosecutor Sudmati has retracted his confession, we'll have to redeliberate the current case from scratch. Yes, the defense speaks the truth. Even though it is clear who the guilty party is. Queen Garan. The defense accuses you of the murder of Justice Minister Inga Karkul Kurain. But do you have any evidence, defense? Evidence that will prove Garan was the killer? There's still one more avenue for us to explore, Mr. Justice. There is? Minister Inga's final memories. In them, the minister's killer posed as Dirk. Therefore, one must ask, how did the killer dispose of their disguise? Hey, you're right. A lot of blood would have spattered onto the killer. So the blood-soaked clothes would have to have been dealt with somehow. If they're still around somewhere, then... I was wondering what absurd idea you would concoct next. Clothing can be disposed of almost anywhere. I doubt you could find them now. And you don't know us very well. Your benevolence? Yes? On the day of your father's murder, you had been watching the courtyard from 2 p.m. Now, during that time, you saw Queen Garan, did you not? Yes, I did. I saw my mother entering the palace from the courtyard. But I was told not to mention it because it had nothing to do with my father's murder. Rafa, you would not dare. They're entering the palace from the courtyard. The queen headed into the palace. Did she have Dirk's clothes in her possession? No, she did not. So, maybe she disposed of them somewhere in the courtyard.
Objection!
The police did a thorough sweep of the area following the crime. But they did not find anything resembling Dirk's clothes. But you knew that already, didn't you, prosecutor? Yes, I admit no clothing was found. Heh, so you admit that you were merely speculating? Chasing phantoms and delusions of evidence that never existed. This makes no sense. Clothing doesn't just disappear like that. If Garan wasn't carrying any clothes, she must have gotten rid of them somewhere. Somewhere where she thought they'd never be found. Where they'd never be found, huh? Is it possible the dog didn't knock the urn over? But she did?
Take that!
Impossible. A thorough search has already been... well, whatever. You could at least listen. No. Yeah. If you ever hope to locate Dirk's clothes, Mr. Justice, it would have to be someplace that was beyond her benevolence's field of vision. Benevolence's field of vision. Otherwise, she would have noticed the bundle of bloody clothes. Right. I mean... I have to be like... back here? What is this field of vision? I mean, there's only two places. And one of them's the tomb, which we know they searched thoroughly. The other one is his private quarters, but they also searched that one thoroughly. Did she, like, throw them over the wall? No. I don't know this one. What the heck?
Take that!
Tomb? Wait. I think the clothing was hidden there. Yes, it's the only place it can be. Very well. Where in the tomb do you believe the clothes were hidden? We looked in here, we looked in here, we looked here. There wasn't anything in there, I don't think. We looked... I mean... Are we saying that the clothes on Dirk in the sarcophagus? Of course, that makes perfect sense. The clothes weren't simply hidden, the clothes returned to... Wait, so he was naked in there? Oh, of course. They just took his clothes off when she channeled him. Wait. Yeah? I didn't think Maya took... I thought Maya didn't channel him until after she got back to the States. By that you mean... The killer would have had to get Dirk's clothes from somewhere. Luckily, they were right there. Oh, right. His original clothes, which is why they have blood on them. At the time of the minister's murder, Dirk's body was already in the sarcophagus. So the killer could have simply borrowed his clothes. Before the minister entered the tomb, the killer put on Dirk's clothes, and then hid behind the curtain above the sarcophagus. And after the minister was killed, Dirk's clothes were returned to his body.
Objection!
So what? This is still all speculation. We know not whether those clothes were actually used in the murder. Therefore, you cannot prove that they are somehow connected to this case.
Objection!
That's where you're wrong, but I believe you already knew that. These clothes were definitely used during the minister's murder because of this. Is it because of this bloodstain? Because these are the three where he got shot. But this one is from him stabbing someone?
Take that!
Bloodstains on Dirk's chest are no doubt the result of being shot by the minister. However, that doesn't explain everything. There's also some blood spatter extending from his left elbow to his abdominal area. Yeah, the one where...
Take that!
The killer wore these clothes during the murder, and the blood spatter must have come from Minister Inga. I thought it was all Dirk's, but that makes sense. Only one way to be sure, though. Let's get those stains analyzed right away. Indeed, this may be the conclusive evidence we need to prove the Queen's guilt.
Objection!
You cannot prove it was I who hid those clothes. They could very well have been hidden by a third party. But could they really? Say the possibility of someone other than Garon hiding the clothes. No, it's just not possible. Your Eminence, I recall you saying the following. The key to Amar's sarcophagus is under the protection of the royal family. My husband and I are the only ones who could open it. Therefore, it would be impossible for some knave to open it. Ah. That was your own testimony, word for word. Why, you insolent. Admit it. Only you could have hidden Dirk's clothes after they were used in the murder. And that means you were the one who killed Justice Minister Inga. Significant worm. You dare accuse me, the ruler of Kurain? Do not think for one moment that such impudence would be tolerated. I'm afraid such arguments are invalid here in this sacred hall, Your Eminence, because even monarchs aren't above the law. It's the end of the line for you, Queen Garon. Time to come down from that lofty throne and face justice. Me? Face justice? Surely you jest. You are in no position to force my hand, lawyer. Oh? Surely you haven't forgotten about the Defense Culpability Act. Those who would support criminals will be deemed just as guilty. In short, should I be convicted of murdering my husband, your dear brother who delivered false testimony in my defense shall also be found guilty. What? That can't be, can it? By delivering false testimony in the court of protecting a guilty party, of course, would certainly be judged by this court as having supported a criminal, and the Defense Culpability Act would most definitely come into play. But that law is so broad that anyone could be convicted under it. When it comes to the DC Act, even I am conflicted, and yet, as it currently stands, it is the law of the land. And as you said earlier, no one is above the law. Of all the absurd things I've seen, this law really takes the cake. Now what? What can we even do at this point? You need not look so forlorn. Dirk has been cleared of all charges, so let us leave all thoughts of the real killer and revolution in the past where it belongs. She wants us to just let her off scot-free, and yet I don't see any other choice. You cannot yield to her here, Apollo. If it will move the revolution forward, I will gladly face the DC Act. Now do it. Accuse Queen Garon of the crime she has committed. But
Such insolence!
what you speak of is not revolution. Our kingdom will not function without its sovereign, and Rafa cannot ascend to the throne, for she is as yet incapable of channeling spirits. Thus, to accuse me is to wish destruction upon our fair kingdom, you terrorist. Terrorist? If you would still insist on accusing me, and as ruling sovereign of Kurain, I proclaim the following. All who imperil the crown, no matter the reason, shall be subject to immediate execution upon the Queen's orders. What? Immediate execution? You still not comprehend? Then let me be clear, for the sake of this kingdom's future, and in accordance with the laws of Kurain, I command that you be put to death at once. What the... Isn't this going a bit too far? Why is the Garan Royal Guard... They were on standby in case of an attack by foolishly optimistic terrorists. Now, if you would continue to oppose me, the very embodiment of the law, then under my regal authority you shall all be put to death.
Objection!
Oh, come on, this is insane, even for you. You can't possibly get away with something like this. This is a court of law. You can't just order our execution without due process.
Hold it!
Now look, Apollo, truth and due process is certainly important, but so is your life, so think before you speak again. But... Please, Apollo, do not make this any worse than it already is. I cannot lose you to the Twilight Realm, too. What am I supposed to do? How do I win against an opponent that can rewrite the law as she sees fit? How can I ever bring her to justice? Is this really how it all ends? It is your life or your accusation, lawyer. You cannot hope for both. It is time to cease this insanity. What do I do? Should I accuse Queen Garan? Kinda want to save again here, so I can do this later and see what happens. If you pick the other one. I know what I have to do. Mr. Wright, you know that saying you're constantly reminding me and Athena of? The worst of times are when lawyers have to force their biggest smiles. You never fail to surprise me, Apollo. And Nayuta, you know that creed we've known ever since we were kids? A dragon never yields. Apollo, they're not merely words. They are what's carried us this far. So now, it's time to honor these words and the memories of the ones who gave them to us. I couldn't agree with you more, Apollo. Those words are more important to me than you know. And if there's any time to remember them, it's now. It would seem, Apollo, that not one but two auspicious creatures dwell deep within you. A fierce dragon and a virtuous phoenix that shall scatter the clouds hiding the heavens. I shall join you in your death-defying bluff. I think I finally understand what those words really mean, and the resolve they embody. Are you smiling, even in the face of certain doom? Is there no end to your defiance? Unfortunately for you, no. I won't let fear, or even the law, force me to abandon the pursuit of truth. Because there is another saying in my country, the truth will set you free. Indeed, that is precisely what Dirk sought to do through this trial. He wished for us to break free from a certain despicable spider's immobilizing silk threads. I won't be intimidated by unjust laws or give in to fear. Abandoning the truth like that is just not a part of my playbook. There's only one path before us, revolution. The time to make Dirk's dream a reality is upon us. Your Eminence, if you are the law here in Kurain, then your very existence is wrong. Does your desperate bleeding know no end? I know it's a bit late to ask, but what's the plan? Well, if Garan is going to execute us on the spot under the Defense Culpability Act, and the law itself derives its power from the authority of the Crown, then there's only one thing to do. We dethrone her, right here, right now. Alright, but how? It's not like we have a lot of time to come up with a way to do it, either. I doubt she'll allow you to perform another cross-examination while we think. Don't worry, I'll come up with something. You'll be fine. Can't give up. Not now. You have to keep on fighting to the end. Can't allow these broken trials to go on. It's time to make things right. accuse Garan, Nayuta will be subject to the Defense Culpability Act, which means he will be put to death in accordance with the law. The only way out of this is to dethrone Garan right now. This means dethroning Garan. Wait. Hold on. I don't know which one of these to pick, because I think we need all of them. Let's start with this one. Convince the orb is the key to the revolution in Kodain's future. That Garon's deception of the orb makes a large amount of sense. She probably doesn't want anyone using it to gain spiritual powers and rights to the throne. You can definitely try to do just that, but that's where it starts to fall apart, because you need a spirit medium. Yeah, the founder's name. Oh, that never existed. Founder is only known to those who become queen. Means the only people who currently know her name are Garan and Amara. So even if someone else had the orb, they wouldn't be able to channel the founder. So that begs the question, why is Garan so fixated on the orb? Can she not channel spirits? That's why she had Amara. That's why she's had Amara there for so long. Next to her. It wasn't just to keep her close, it was because she had to fill in for her, because she... Could it be? It's hard to believe, but... She wants spiritual power, does that mean she can't channel spirits? That would explain why she had Amara perform the rite of channeling. Is that why she let Amara live, to stand in for her when the time came to channel spirits? So if Garan can't channel spirits... Garan's Defense Culpability Act was established under the Crown's authority. But if she has no claim to the throne, then the DC Act would become null and void. No, not just the DC Act. All of the insane laws she's enacted would be swept away in one fell swoop. I mean, I guess that's how that works. I think that's what we're going to have to run with anyway. You claim the authority of the Crown. You, of all people. That's a good one. Have you truly lost it, lawyer? Indeed, I would have the defense explain himself at once. It's easy, Your Majesty. Why is Queen Garan so obsessed with the Founder's Orb? Why did she let Queen Amara live? And why was she having her mercifulness perform the rite of channeling in her place? The answers to these three questions point to a single conclusion, a fact that will shape this kingdom to its very core. I still do not follow, Apollo. Your Eminence, I have just one question for you, and please be honest. You can't actually channel spirits, can you? What? You believe the Queen is not capable of communing with the dead? The defense will explain himself at once. In Kodain, the ability to channel spirits is an absolute requirement for a would-be queen. But, Your Eminence, if you were incapable of doing that, then you'd have no claim to the throne. Not only that, but every law you've passed would be rendered null and void. And you, the Garan Royal Guard, you seem to be rather enamored with the Queen's supposed spiritual power. But what if she had none? What if she were just an ordinary person, a pretender to the throne? That's crazy talk, impossible. Everyone knows only spirit mediums can become queen. This is such blasphemy. On what grounds do you make such a defamatory claim? Queen Garan, if you think I'm just out to defame you, then prove it. Prove it using this piece of evidence you want so badly. All the conditions for summoning the Founder should be in place. With the orb, we know what the Founder looks like. And as Queen, you should know what the Founder's name. Now, if you would, Your Eminence, please show us the great spiritual power you bear as Grand Priestess of Korain. To witness Her Eminence's great power with our own eyes, the Holy Mother will appear before us, the great miracle of miracles. Praise be, Your Eminence. May your mighty spiritual power show us the way. Uh-oh. Somebody's... Oh... You know, we've had a number of bluffs called in our lifetime, as Apollo and Phoenix. But I think this is the biggest bluff that's ever been called that someone won't be able to back up. Enough, I say, you mindless cretins. Your Eminence, can it be that you cannot? No, I want a lawyer. Summon one at once.
Objection!
Are you forgetting something? There aren't any lawyers left in Korain. You can thank your Defense Culpability Act for that. Your Eminence, please give us a glimpse of your magnificent spiritual power. Summon Her Holiness so she may guide us. I've heard enough from you. Out of my sight, all of you. If you truly are capable of channeling spirits, then get on with it already, Your Eminence. You sneaky, underhanded wretch of a lawyer. That reminds me, you said something to this effect earlier. It is time to cease this insanity. Don't you feel stupid for saying that now? Indeed, of all the things she has said, I can think of nothing more ludicrous. Apollo, teach this deceitful, putrid queen a lesson she won't soon forget. Gladly, because it really is time to cease this insanity. Garan, your reign of terror ends here. Holy shit. Here it comes. Very well. Demonstrating my facility as a spirit medium is simple enough. Behold, the magnificent power to commune with the dead. No, wait, I was just warming up. The ride actually starts from now. Look. Prosecutor Samadhi, how is Her Eminence? It seems she now believes that she herself is the Holy Mother. I see, but her attempt at spirit channeling failed, did it not? Sadly, she seems unable to accept the facts. I fear it will be quite a challenge to question her later. And what, if I may ask, was her motive? I understand that she killed Minister Inga in order to prevent his coup d'etat. What of her attempt to assassinate Queen Amara 23 years ago? To become queen herself? Maybe she just craved power and attention. She likely developed a psychological complex from her inability to channel spirits. That is why she kept Queen Amara alive to perform the rite of channeling for her. In that way, it would seem as if she had great spiritual power, and that's why she couldn't get rid of Amara for so long, even though she wanted to be queen and actually didn't care. It was only once she really had her back up against the wall that she risked having her shot. So they were both kind of like locked in on this, which is why neither side wanted to budge or back down for so long. Oh, jeez, what a complicated mess. In short, she built a cult of personality upon fear and lies. Then again, do not all tyrants. So then, she never really intended to kill Amara, huh? Yeah. Oh, well, maybe she didn't. Maybe she didn't give that order. Either way, what I don't understand is why Queen Amara ever listened to Garan in the first place, especially 14 years ago, before Rafa was being held hostage. Why would she keep letting the people of Kurain think she was dead, while she kept quietly performing the rite of channeling for Garan? My mother is a gentle soul by nature, and loves her sister dearly, so when Garan told her to hide because Dirk was out to kill her, she believed it. What's more, she did not wish to tarnish the name of her beloved sister. That is why she acquiesced so obediently to Garan's request to keep channeling for her, till she fled with Dirk and was told the truth, that is. So that's what happened. And since Rafa was being held captive, I imagine Amara had no choice but to help cover up the truth behind Inga's murder. And living secretly as Rafa's servant Nena, no doubt only deepened her love for her daughter. She'd do anything to keep her safe. All the more reason to hide the painful truth from her. Well, that was a case for the ages. Prosecutor Sadmati has been cleared of all suspicion in the murder of Minister Inga, as has Mr. Dirk Sadmati in the assassination attempt on Queen Amara. Now then, I think it is high time I handed down my verdict on Dirk and Nayuta Sadmati. Dirk, I hope you're watching. I proved your innocence. Nayuta's smiling again, and that revolution you've always dreamed of is finally happening. With this, may I finally say, this court is adjourned. Here you go, Apollo. I was on the edge of my seat when those guards stormed the courtroom. That was a shocker, all right. Can't imagine anything like that happening back home. I know, right? I was ready to go on down there and teach them a lesson myself. For a second, I thought what we were going to have to do was, like, have Maya channel the founder so that Rafa could immediately gain enough power to usurp the throne and be like, nah, I'm in charge now. But there's no way Garan would have let that happen, so... But I knew the orb had to do something with it. Of course, we don't actually even know if, like, the whole Founder's Orb channeling thing will do anything. Maybe going down there and teaching myself. Really? I was barely able to hold her back. Hold me back? You were about to go ballistic after a while there, Athena. Yeah, well, I was thinking about helping you smack a few of them down, too. To be honest. Remind me to never say or do anything to deserve a Maya Athena double suplex. You did a fine job out there today, Apollo. Thanks for all the great advice, Mr. Right. Nah, it was all you. That perseverance and never say die attitude you showed was impressive. I actually learned a thing or two myself. What? From me? That's a laugh. There were any number of times where I wouldn't have blamed you for giving up. You just stuck it out to the end and came away triumphant. By sheer force of will, an inner strength forged in countless trials. You overcame the most desperate and hopeless situation I've ever seen. I don't know about all that. I mean it. You've really come a long way, Apollo. I have nothing but respect for your abilities as an attorney. Really? Aren't you exaggerating just a little bit, Mr. Wright? You did it, Apollo. You finally won his seal of approval. But what about me, Nick? My channeling's come a long way, too. After all, I was deemed worthy enough to be used in 2 major crimes already. Yeah, and 2 major chances for me to become someone for you to channel next. Honestly, I couldn't have done this without the support of each and every person here. Mr. Wright, Athena, Nayuta, and of course, Dirk. That's pretty cool, Polly. What are you doing here? Jersey, what are you doing? Yeah. It's magic. I'm afraid she employed the old let's stow away Mr. Edgeworth's suitcase trick. That would certainly explain why my suitcase was so heavy. Tell me you at least noticed it was heavier than usual. Trucy? Do you have a passport? I'm an extra-dimensional space. I can produce a passport at the drop of my hat. Right. Maybe some things in this world are better left a mystery. Hornhead, Barbedhead. I'm forever in your debt for what you've accomplished in this Hall of Justice. Without your presence, I may have never changed as I have this day. It's pathetic, I know. That's where you're wrong, your benevolence. It was you who changed yourself. Only you could choose to defy Garan, and that decision was yours and yours alone. That's right. All we did was present you with the opportunity. You made use of it with gusto. This victory is yours, your benevolence. You should be proud of yourself. I see. So, I am worthy of my title after all. Ha! Ha 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 ha! I shall work to heal our kingdom so that it may know peace and prosperity once more. She sure bounced back quick. So your benevolence, I take it you learned the truth of your origins. That you are the daughter of Dirk and Queen Amara. Yes, my mother, Her Eminence told me. She said it was a part of my disciplining. If you can call it that. Sounds more like blackmail. Keep quiet or I'll tell everyone you're the daughter of a criminal. My mother was so insufferable. Or should I say, my former mother. Sounds like there was no love lost there. But you cleared Dirk's name. My true father will no longer be known as a criminal. Therefore, I have nothing more to fear. So what's next for the Kingdom of Kurain? You lost your queen, so... Her benevolence, Princess Rafa, will ascend to the throne. Nayuta? But she can't channel spirits yet, right? Indeed, which is why I will act as regent on her behalf. Until the day she comes into her own. Yes, your help will be greatly appreciated, prosecutors. Is she going to say what I think she is? What are you looking at, you horn-headed nincompoop? Ouch! In any event, I will be assisted by Nayuta and Queen Amara for the time being. Queen Amara? The country offers counsel to the rulers of neighboring kingdoms through channeling. It is a duty I intend to fulfill myself one day, but for now I will have Queen Amara assist me in that capacity. So then, she's going to be alright? Yes, it seems the bullet went straight through her without doing any serious damage. That's a relief. You did it, AJ. Thanks to you, both Dirk and Nayuta beat the charges against him. And you got the revolution rolling to boot. The revolution. Dirk. I guess you were right to believe in me after all. Yes, sir. There's going to be some major changes around here. The legal system's going to return to its rightful state, like how Dirk always wanted. And the name of Apollo Justice will go down in Kuraini's history. Yeah, right. Oh, Nayuta, before I forget, there's something I wanted to give you before I head back home. You wish to give me something? Yes, as Dirk's birth son, I think you should have this. I think I know what to do here.
Take that!
This is Dirk's. I have to get back to the States. And I know you're a prosecutor and all. As the man that's going to change Kurain, it's only right that you have it. To change Kurain. Yeah, in Dirk's place. Apollo, I'm afraid I must refuse your gift. What? Why? There's something I would like to show you. Huh? What's this all of a sudden? Mr. Wright, won't you and your friends please join us? Oh, sure. So why'd you bring us here, Nayuta? Apollo, I want you to stay here in Kurain. What? But why? We've lost our queen and our kingdom stands at a crossroads. Most of all, we will need to rebuild our entire legal system. Naturally, that includes the reintroduction of lawyers to the court. Wait, you're not asking me to. Yes, I want you to take over this law office. With you as a lawyer and me as a prosecutor, we shall rebuild Kurain's legal system from the ground up. You want me to help you rebuild the legal system? That's a lot to take in. Apollo, I cannot do this without you. As a lawyer, you are Dirk's spiritual heir. And having studied in America, your legal knowledge will be indispensable. This is way out of my league. The revolution is still in its infancy. It was Dirk's dream to restore the legal system to its rightful state. Will you not help me realize that dream?
You, get out. Stop fighting. Hey, you don't hit me. Get out. Get out. Dimitri? Get out. Get out. Okay.
Sorry about that, I'll be right back. Alright, all bandaged up and ready to get back to it. I'll wrap this up tonight. Come on, AJ, you know it's what Dirk would have wanted. Let's do it together. You must be taken aback by my sudden request, but please give it some thought. Of course, I'm honored that you asked. Still, I have my job back at the Right Anything Agency to consider too. Don't you worry about that, Apollo. Besides, this is something only you can do. Something only I can do? I mean, to be completely honest, our office would be a bit short on firepower without you around, but hey. Mr. Wright. Actually, I'm sorry, but I can't get on board with this. Athena? I mean, there's still so much I want to learn from you, Apollo. That's right, it won't be the same without you. Also, Phoenix, there's something you should tell Apollo and Jersey of both cameras. Everyone at home would really miss you too. There's no way I can agree to this. Still, if you really wanted to stay... Yeah, Athena's right. It won't be easy, but... Athena, Trucy... Apollo, no one but you can make this decision. Know that I will not question whatever choice you make. Our flight leaves tomorrow morning, Apollo. Think you can make up your mind by then? I'll try. Talk about a difficult decision. Should I go back to the US and continue working at the Right Anything Agency? Or should I stay in Kurain and help Nayuta rebuild the legal system? What's the right thing for me to do? The bus to the airport will be here any minute. I wonder where Apollo is. Do you think he decided to stay here in Kurain? I bet he was up all night thinking. This is a life-changing decision after all. Whatever he decides, I'll have to accept it. I guess this means no more courtroom battles alongside him. Hey, guys! That booming voice anywhere. Oh, I made it. Apollo, you're here. Does this mean you're coming home with us? Well, about that. Mr. Wright? Yes? I've made up my mind. Here it is, the moment of truth. I still have so many things to learn from you. But I've decided to stay in Kurain. You're staying? But I feel like I have to pick up where Dirk left off. I can't let his sacrifice go to waste. I see. Plus, I want to teach others everything you've taught me about being a lawyer, Mr. Wright. Apollo, Dirk's roadmap for the future, and your teachings. I believe that these two things will save the people of this kingdom from further unrest. I want to do this. No, I have to do this. Apollo, never felt prouder. Proud to have had such an amazing attorney working under me. But someday, I'll return to the US. Once the new legal system here is firmly in place, I'll be back. Scout's honor. Can we really see you again, Apollo? You bet. Not that I have any idea how long it'll be. But I promise you this, everyone. I'll keep on learning and growing, and I'll come back to the US an even better lawyer. So don't you forget about me. Of course we won't, Apollo. There'll always be a spot waiting for you back at the office. In the meantime, we'll be rooting for you, so knock 'em dead. You got it, Mr. Wright. I'm gonna miss you, Polly. But if this is it, then I'm going to support your choice all the way. Thanks, Jersey. Good luck with your magic act. I know you'll do Troop Grammary proud. Grammar, whatever. I'll be cheering for you too, Apollo. But don't think you're the only one with room to grow. Next time we meet, you probably won't even recognize me. In other words, game on? You bet. I'm gonna win. I'm going to miss you too, Apollo, but I can't wait to see where your new adventure will take you. Well, there's our boss. I guess this is it, Apollo. I'll never forget everything you've done for me, Mr. Wright. I don't know how I'll ever repay you. Here's to see you back in the US again someday. Until then, you know where to find me. The legacy of those who came before us. It's handed down from parent to child. And from mentor to disciple. You must never stall or stagnate, but continue to grow and change. All that we've been taught, the beliefs and convictions that have been passed down to us, we must continue to nurture them so we, in turn, can pass them on to the next generation.
Sure you're okay with him staying, boss?
Uh-huh. I always figured he'd leave the nest someday.
Oh, I think they're almost here.
Just a little. Got it. Huh?
Why don't we go and check it out, AJ?
Still gotta see where everyone ends up. Come on, Mr. Hat, introduce yourself. I'm Amazing Mr. Hat. Nice to meet you. I want to take this opportunity to announce my solo debut. Mr. Hat doesn't want Apollo to leave him in the dust. We're fierce rivals, you know. Can't let him hog the spotlight. It's just not the same without Polly, is it? Yeah, I kind of miss him too. I know. We should go visit him in Kodain. Yeah, you should. Phoenix. You're gonna tell them? After seeing Mr. Justice in action, I got to thinking. What can I do for Kodain? It came to me. Tourism, that's what. I'll develop Kodain's tourism industry and bring in more visitors. Roll out a night tour center centered on the Founder Orb. But we'll make a museum dedicated to the Defiant Dragons. The ideas just keep on coming. I want to congratulate you on becoming a forensic investigator, Detective Sky. Thank you, but Prosecutor Samadi says he has need of me, so starting tomorrow I'll be working in Kodain for a while. Look at it this way, it's sure to be an educational experience. True, plus I can't let that kid show me up either. Let's see what I can do for Kodain's revolution. Well, challenges have a way of helping people grow. I look forward to our next investigation upon your return. That forehead face. Ever since he revealed the secret behind our teleportation trick, show requests have totally dried up. Be out in the street if we don't find some work soon. We should take Trucy up on her offer. She said we could make our debut as magicians at the Write Anything agency. Shut up, I'm gonna show her up someday, and on my own terms. Nothing fires you up like a bitter rivalry. Kurain is just like this child right now, full of life and limitless possibilities. The faith that Dirk and my darling Trust will watch over them both. Have no fear. See Dirk's legacy through to the end. And just for Junior here, there's a secret to being a man among men. Behold, the Dats pose. Sounds like little Fita is saying Fita. You know, now that I think about it, he's the only one who did that. I thought maybe it would be something that all of them did, but I guess it was just him. Been pulling double duty ever since Apollo left, but that's okay. I'm gonna make Simon recognize me for the awesome lawyer that I am. She's quaking in her boots. Widget, I can do it. I will. Mr. Wright will be calling me his right-hand woman before you know it. Let's do this. Bucky, how dare you deliver my order in such a sorry state? Don't be mad, Simon. I was watching a huge party at my job yesterday. Still tastes fine. Oh boy, this guy. Great big pillock. Just lost my appetite because of you. Hard to find good help these days. You say, old chum? Trial the other day really inspired me. I've even created a Rakugo routine based on Shisho's case. It's a mystery story that'll keep flipping the audience's thinking on its head. It's called The Scary Udon Noodle. Giving away too much in the title. Keeping the Tornado School going is our way of paying penance and repaying our debt to Shisho. That includes Rakugo training for that kid, Owen. With my newfound mobility, even ancient ruins and their fancy schmancy Tomb Raider traps are no match for me. The university where my father worked is letting me help with the dig. One day I'll discover an unknown ancient civilization and dedicate it to him. I'll also be going on a dig in Kurain soon. The private justice had better not be slacking off. Well, don't fire any missiles at him, please. I'm going to be super busy now that I'm the head of the Fae clan. Don't worry, Mystic Maya. I'll do whatever I can to help. Thanks, Pearly. Our first order of business will be to revolutionize Kurain Village. I have an idea. How about opening a store where we can buy new outfits like the city girls wear? Well, the girls are all grown up now. I think there are a few more pressing matters to take care of first. Yeah, you're right. Guess it'll be a while before I get my revolutionary makeover. Mother, now that you've stopped being Nana, I want a new Nana. I wonder if there would be anyone willing to serve you in that capacity. You are quite a handful, after all. I am? A simple wave of your hand. You would have your attire changed, meals prepared, and even your teeth brushed. I think I put such undue burden upon you. You, a Grand Priestess of Kurain. You're not, Rifa. You have plenty of time in which to make amends. Oh, perhaps you could start with one of your famous shoulder rubs. Her benevolence was taken to calling me Braidhead, and worse, she trembles and her face turns red when she speaks to me. What have I done to deserve such animosity? It is true that I am merciless within the Hall of Justice. Given such a dismissive name is entirely uncalled for. What am I to do? Perhaps I shall consult Apollo about this. How's he doing, Mr. Wright? Great. He's a respectable lawyer in his own right. Even has his own practice called Justice Law Offices. Thank you. This wouldn't have been possible without you. Before I forget, I made a copy of this photo for you. Photo? Oh. Jove. It is so good to see him again. Don't you think it's about time we told them the truth? After all, they've both grown into fine young people now. Yes, you're right. Perhaps it's about time they knew. Like it's past time, but sure. Well, I mean, we've still got the DLC stuff to do, but as far as the story goes for this final chapter in the Apollo Justice trilogy, and I guess the trilogy as a whole, they were good. I think even after all this time, the first game is still my favorite. But this one, I think this one is maybe up there with the third game as a close second or third. There's still some things, like, I still think it's wild that they still haven't told him yet, but I guess that'll happen eventually. And it is weird that they dropped some of the things from the fourth game, like the Juris system, but overall, good stuff. I think it was good that we get to see my... Hold on a minute. Alright, sorry about that. I'm back again. Hope I didn't miss much. Let's wrap this up. You're Mr. Right. Can't believe it's already been a few months since I decided to stay. Sorry I haven't been good about keeping in touch, but things have been really hectic. Rebuilding a legal system I'm not yet familiar with has been a real challenge. But I will say, it's given me plenty of work to keep me busy. Even the autopsy report, even a cursory glance, Mr. Justice. It's just I have 15 clients on my plate right now. I probably shouldn't have accepted all 15 at the same time. Apollo. Oh, please. Are you going to help me rebuild Korean's legal system or not? If you are, we need to move through this case backlog faster. Yeah, I know, but... Besides, those 15 are only the beginning. There are 10 more awaiting your services. Huh? I too have friends and acquaintances seeking legal representation. Being that you are the only lawyer in the country, I told them to contact you. I estimate we'll only add about 16 clients to your caseload. Huh? Huh? Now wait just 1 minute. I've been handing out advertisements for your new office. They read, from legal advice to investigating extramarital affairs, even yak milking. For a limited time only, these services and more are free down at Justice Law offices. Oh no. I've already received requests from 380 new clients. Oh no. I'm going to have to say something, aren't I? I trust you did your cords of steel exercises this morning. Well, go on. There is no need to hold back. Now that you mention it, we have yet to hear you shout today. Yes, and I have grown quite drowsy from these tedious proceedings. Could use a loud something to wake me up. Do not disappoint me, Hornhead. There's really only one thing to say at a time like this. It's a word I've said countless times in my career, but one I'll never tire of.
Objection!
Anyways, so I will still go through and do the extra case. I don't know, at some point in the near future. I don't know when I'm going to get a chance to, probably in the next couple of days we'll start in on it. But I am going to have to wrap up for tonight. Sorry about the unexpected delays. Yeah, that's all we can say about that. But that's it for tonight, so I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, I've really been having a lot of fun with this. It's not quite done yet, so we'll see what that bonus DLC case has in store for us next time. Until then, have a good evening. Catch you later.